I said I wasn't going to do it. I swore I wasn't going to talk about this. I made a solemn vow on stream that not even Batman could beat this conversation out of me, but it's going to leave my lips because I can't take it anymore. This is worse than the torture Jack Bauer put his terrorists through. People keep emailing me and asking me, what did I think about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight? The reason I didn't want to talk about the fight and the reason I was so adamant that I wouldn't be talking about the fight while it was going on during stream is because it's just boring. It was extremely lackluster, and that was an extremely predictable thing to see from a mile away. Now, apparently the undercard fights that preceded the main event were extremely good, so hats off to all the fighters that really put their best foot forward and delivered an incredible performance in the middle of this fucking circus. I have said, since the very day this was announced, that it was a pathetic endeavor. I thought that this would only end in underwhelming, disappointing disaster. And it only got worse when Mike Tyson suffered a medical emergency and nearly died like 4 months before this fight even happened, which caused it to be pushed back in the first place. It is stupid. I thought it was a horrible concept for a fight. I didn't even watch it. I was streaming Dark Souls 3 through the whole thing and getting updates from chat about how horrible it was to watch, what a giant waste of time and scam it was, and I still was provided with a real-time analysis round by round, and my god, even just reading the cliff notes was sad and lame. Like, it would have been more thrilling to be getting updates at bingo night, hearing about the senior citizens bingo cards. It was just sad. Like, it would have been a more thrilling fight to watch me put my head up someone's butt to fight for air. It's just, from the very beginning, I said there would be no knockouts in this fight. I was very, very firm in that prediction. And there was no knockouts in this fight. Not only was there no knockouts, there was no anything worthwhile. As I said from the beginning, this is just a cash grab. It is two athletes getting a payday and nothing else. And from the highlights, using that word real loosey-goosey, that I watched of it, there wasn't even really much of a fight there. Mike Tyson is nearly 60 years old. He is a legend, but he's also a man. And there is no man that can beat Father Time. Time is undefeated and it always will be. And there are certain things that as you age, you just can't overcome in a physical sense like this. Honestly, I'm very impressed that Mike Tyson was able to even go the distance in this fight to actually finish it, because he was gassed really early from what I can tell. He ran out of steam by like the second round almost entirely, from at least from what I've picked up on. Again, I didn't watch it live, but from everything I'm seeing, it seemed like he was completely out of energy, needed to construct additional pylons, like there were no resources left, yet he hung on and still absorbed like 200 punches from Jake Paul. So really, hats off to Mike Tyson for that, and overcoming all of the obstacles that he did to even fight in this event. It really is extraordinary, to be honest. It was never realistic to expect him to come out there and be the Mike Tyson that everyone remembers from the glory days. It was always going to be an incredibly difficult challenge to fight someone as young as Jake Paul. I am not surprised that Jake won this fight, and people are already clowning on him for it, saying that he's already booked his next fight against Joe Biden and then his following fight against Jimmy Carter. Jake Paul hurts more elderly people than a staircase. He's built a reputation of just challenging out of their prime fighters, retired fighters, sometimes not even fighters. I wouldn't be shocked if Jake Paul called out my father, saying that he's bad at iRacing and he wants to prove it by getting in the boxing ring with my dad. I know everyone, including myself, was saying this is a lose-lose for Jake because even if he won, he would still get laughed at for it, which he is, rightfully so. But if he lost, he would get laughed at for that too, for losing to a nearly 60-year-old man. But now, it's pretty clear it wasn't a lose-lose. It was a win-win. Two winners, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They both got like $20 million each for this. And you know who ultimately got put in a losing position, a little checkmate? Everyone who watched it. Everyone who spent their night waiting for something extraordinary to happen with Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I am surprised at how popular this was. I am shocked that people bought into the hype again. This is a classic how many times do I have to teach you this lesson moment. Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. Like all of these fights like this, where it's YouTuber versus legend, are always underwhelming. I also speculated that this fight, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, had a no knockout clause. I still think I'm probably right on the money with that. This truly was just about getting a bag. I don't think there was ever the desire for Jake or Mike to knock the other out, so I think it was probably even written into the contract to maybe not go hog wild in the fight or anything. But of course, that's just a conspiracy theory. That's fucking tinfoil condom shit from me there. Not that it really matters. At the end of the day, this was never about a fight. It was always about a payday for both of them. So, I mean, congratulations to them. They definitely made a pretty penny off of this. Maybe next time when Jake Paul announces his next opponent, when he digs up the corpse of Muhammad Ali and challenges it to a fight, maybe then people will be like, maybe I'll sit this one out. I've been disappointed plenty of times now with these big YouTuber fights. Maybe this is the one that I'll finally skip on. Because right now, this is just an infinite money glitch right here. Jake Paul has made so much doing this same thing. And you think he gives a shit that people make fun of him for challenging retired fighters? Absolutely not. He doesn't care at all because it draws a crowd every time. And even if you hate him for it, you're still watching. And that's putting tons of doubloons in his pockets. And he knows that playing the villain is extremely lucrative because it gets people invested. They want to see him get knocked out, and he plays with that, and he makes a lot of money off that. So people will be cheering for whoever he goes up against. When Jake Paul announces that he's fighting the ghost of Christmas past next week, people will tune in hoping that this will be the time that, the dildo of justice rarely comes lubed, and it's coming at Jake raw. It's going to be the time he gets knocked out, and I can't wait to see it. And it probably won't, because Jake is a good fighter, and he is fighting people that don't actively fight anymore. When he did fight someone that does still actively fight, he lost. And I'm going to make another prediction here. I don't think he's going to make that mistake again. I don't think he's going to challenge any more active fighters. That's a bold prediction because he's going to be farming this for quite some time. I think he will continue to choose huge names and nothing else. Huge names that people will recognize to draw a crowd to tune in to the latest fucking wet fart of a fight that he puts on. So there you go. There's the whole enchilada on my thoughts of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'm very happy I didn't watch it live. That would have made me actually mad, especially considering how bad the broadcast apparently was. That's a totally separate subject. So I was reading some of the complaints from people. Like after I watched the highlights, I was reading from like some articles that were posted about like the Netflix issues that they were experiencing. How do you fuck that up so bad? This was a massive event for Netflix, and they definitely fumbled it in a big way. But maybe that could be spun as a blessing in disguise, because maybe there's people that were watching it, but the broadcast was so bad they turned it off. You saved yourself a headache. You saved yourself some time, because you didn't miss anything by turning the fight off. Maybe you went to bed a little early. Because of that, you got some extra slumber and you're feeling a lot more recharged today. So Netflix's blunder may have been to your benefit, at least some viewers out there. Though I do think Netflix should probably get that shit together for the next time they try and do a massive streamed broadcast. Because hooey, from what I've read, that was not smooth at all, huh? Anyway, though, that's really about it. See ya.